How's it going, YouTube? Right, about 5 or 6 months ago, I made a video on this camper van that was called Almost Perfect Camper Internet Solution. And it was using this Spitz Plus from GL-iNET. It's the GL-X2000 router. And the reason why this was almost perfect is because it did everything that I needed it to do for my situation. We'll have a look in a minute. And the only thing that was missing to make this absolutely perfect for me was 5G. But today I'm actually super excited because I've got this to have a look at today. This is the Spitz AX GL-X3000. This is the big brother version of this one. And what this one does have is this one has got 5G. I've been using this one now since that video, and it has been absolutely fantastic. I cannot fault it in the slightest at all. And some of the things that it does is absolutely amazing. I'm really technically limited in what I know about internet and routers and networking and stuff like that. But there's a few specific things that I wanted this system to do. If I went into every feature that this does, this video will probably be about 4 hours long. So I'll keep it quite basic. I will keep it to specifically how I want this system to work and how I've set my system up to make what I believe is currently the almost perfect internet solution. Hopefully this will make it the perfect internet solution, and we'll go through how it works and what it does. So if we go into the back and have a look currently how we're set up, I've got these two cupboards here. In this cupboard here, we have got the X2000 router, and in this cupboard here, up at the top up there, we've got a few switches, which I'll tell you about in a second. Right, let's have a quick look on the roof of the camper, and I'll show you what's up there, and then I'll tell you all about all this system, how it all fits together and works. Right, so if we have a look up on the roof here, you'll see what we've got. Here is a 4G antenna, so we've got nice external reception there. Over here is a Starlink Mini. This is our second way of getting internet. And then in the middle here, this is where all the cables and things go into the vehicle. This will make sense in a little bit. So we've got 4G here and Starlink there. Right, so now you've seen what I've got. To make that all make sense and know how mine works, let's go back to basics about internet options on camper vans. Obviously, there's various reasons why people want internet on their camper vans, and there's various ways of getting that internet. The first and most simple and the easiest way is obviously the internet on your phone. This is generally something you already have. And the easiest way to share this internet is normally just hotspot your phone. You can put it down on the side somewhere, and then everything that needs internet can connect to that hotspot. The only downside of that is because you're in a big metal box, the signal is never going to be as good as what it would be if you're outside. So as soon as you start getting to more remote places, you're more likely to lose the internet signal. That goes for the same as well. You know, you can get the little like standalone Wi-Fi router things that's got the little SIM card in. You can stand them on the side somewhere, and that can be your Wi-Fi spot that's got a SIM card in it that you can connect to. They're kind of the same. We'll get their limitations. As soon as you start getting a bit dodgier signal, as soon as you're getting out in the sticks somewhere, you can lose signal quite easily. Which along comes then your next stage, which is your dedicated router, like these as such. The basic version of that will be something similar to these, where all you do is these included antennas that come on it. You replace those with one that's on the roof, and then they just plug in on an SMA connector. And then what that does is it takes your weaker signal from being inside this metal box, it takes the antenna outside, which gives you a lot better chance of getting a signal. Obviously then that can be either 4G or 5G, depending on what you purchase. There is going to be some places once you get really out in the middle of nowhere where you just cannot get a 4 or 5G signal, whether the antenna is inside or it's outside. At that point, that's normally when something like Starlink comes in. As long as you're not undercover, you've got a clear view to the sky, you can have Starlink on the roof, and then normally 9 times out of 10 you'll be able to get a Starlink signal. The coverage with Starlink is quite vast. One of the downsides of Starlink is it's pretty expensive. The roaming packages in the UK start at about £50 a month. But all you do, or all I do, is when I don't need it, I pause it. It used to be a free pause, but now they've gone onto this like standby mode where it costs you £5 a month and it sits in standby until you need it again. Then you can reactivate it. When you reactivate it, it reactivates for the full month. And then you can cancel it again and go back into standby. So I try not to use it unless I really have to. If I'm going away for a few weeks, then I will use the Starlink because then it's worth activating it. I don't particularly need anything that's got super lightning speeds. I just want to be able to watch Netflix videos and things like that in a decent quality. More important to me is signal strength. The only problem when you've got separate systems, like you've got Starlink there, you've got your internet connection there for your SIM card, what happens then is the things, the items within your camper van then have to connect to different Wi-Fi points. I personally like a permanent connection in this van because when I'm away from the van, I want to be able to connect to it for two reasons. One, for the Victron system, so I can see what the electrics are doing. And the other thing is I've got CCTV on the van and I want it to be able to send me push signals when there's any movement or anything around the van, and then I can log into it and see what's going on. So to do that, I need a permanent internet connection. When you've got more than one system and you've got more than one Wi-Fi point to be able to connect to, then it becomes a little bit complicated and you're having to swap around between connections. So you'll physically have to go into, say, for example, the Victron system and change which Wi-Fi point you want to connect to. Obviously, you can't do that remotely. You need to be here to do that. So it gets a bit awkward doing that. So then the next thing comes in, which is specifically things like these. What they allow is multiple internet connections coming in, and then it can prioritize and choose between which one it wants to run, depending on how you program it. So this will be your central Wi-Fi point that everything connects to. So whenever you get in the van, your phone or whatever is just connecting to this Wi-Fi point. You're not picking and choosing which one, depending on what internet you're using. And it makes it a lot easier for things like the Victron. That's permanently connected to this, and this does the sorting out between where the internet comes from, which is exactly what I needed it to do. What these do specifically, they both do it. What they can do is you can have a fail-safe mode, where you can set an order of priority of where you want the internet to come from and in which order, and as it loses signal to each one, it moves down to the next one in the priority, which is how I've got it set up. The other way of doing it is an internet sharing or a connection sharing. So if you've got limits and things like that on different connections, or you're wanting a faster connection, what you can do is it can take, like, for example, a bit of internet from everywhere to make up the signal you're wanting. So if you've got weak signals on a few different things, it takes a little bit from everywhere and adds them all together. Or it just load shares, just so you're not getting all of your allowance used on one thing. You can share it out between the others. I didn't need it to do that. I want the fail-safe one so it can switch over. The other good thing about it taking in internet from multiple places, one thing it does when I'm at home is this: I can connect it to my home Wi-Fi. So it's like a pass-through. What it'll do is this will connect to my home Wi-Fi, and then it'll pass through that signal to everything else in the van. So I've got that set as my first priority. So whenever I'm parked up at home, this will be connecting to my home Wi-Fi rather than using my allowance on my SIM card or the Starlink or anything like that. It's literally just passing through the home Wi-Fi to everything in the van, which is connecting to this Wi-Fi point. Then what I've got as a second priority is I've got the SIM card. So what I've got in this one is I've got the EE card. It's a little bit more expensive than some of the pay-as-you-goes, but I do find EE to be one of the better ones with the most coverage. So I have that as my second priority. So as soon as I drive away from home, it will fail-safe over from the home Wi-Fi to the SIM card. So then I get the internet from the SIM card. Then what I've got as my third priority is I've got the Starlink. So if it ever loses signal from the SIM card, it will automatically then switch over to the Starlink, assuming the Starlink's switched on. I've got in the second cupboard, which I showed you earlier, I've got some switches. So when the Starlink is not needed, because it does take a bit of power, I can literally switch it off. But when I know I'm going away and I want to be switching over between Starlink and internet on the SIM card and things like that, then I can just switch it on at that panel, and then it'll automatically then fail-safe over between the two. Or sometimes I can swap the priority, and what I do is I put Starlink as the second priority, so then it's always taking Starlink whenever it's on. And if I don't want it to be using Starlink, I literally just switch it off on that switch and it'll fail safe over to the internet on the SIM card. And that is exactly how I use it. And what I've found is I always have connection. I've never gone anywhere where I've not had an internet connection. This one in particular, the one that I've been using, although it's only 4G, this especially has got me signal in places where I've been and I've got no signal on this phone at all. Even when I go outside, I've not got a signal on this, but this has managed to get a signal through the external aerial on the roof, and I've managed to connect to the internet, and I've still got connection to the outside world, even though I cannot get a connection with this phone on its own. So this has been really, really good. Which brings us to this one, which is the big brother of this one, like we said. The main reason for me for wanting this is the fact that this has got 5G. This has also got 2 SIM card slots, so I can have 2 SIM cards in it, one set up on EE and one set up as like an international card or something like that, so I can have that on a fail-safe turnover as well. So if I go out the UK, it can automatically switch over. And to be honest, that is just scratching the surface of some of the things that this does. This does a million things I do not even understand. And I won't bother going into too much detail about everything because I do not understand it myself. These have things like inbuilt VPNs and things like that, so you can set this to any country you want, wherever you are, and then whatever connects to this will think it's in that country. So if you've got multiple televisions and things like that connecting to it, you can watch Netflix and stuff like that from different countries. With having the VPN as well, you've got the security as well, and all that can be controlled directly from this, which in itself all can be connected to from the GL-iNET application. You can see there, this is the router that's in the van right now, and not only can I connect to that whilst I'm in here, I can connect into that remotely through a cloud and change any settings and see what it's doing from anywhere in the world. So I think what we'll do is let's open this up, have a quick look inside and see what you get, and then what we'll do is we'll take the old one off and we'll fit this new one. I think before we take that one off, we'll do some speed tests and things like that on the EE card. I'll turn off the Wi-Fi pass through from the house so we can do some speed tests and see what the difference is from the SIM card. Right, so I'll get this open, let's have a quick look. Right, we've got a box there that looks like it's got all of the antennas in it. We won't be needing all of those because we've got an external one to fit. Actually, whilst we're on that, the one on the roof I need to change because that one's just a 4G one. This one is specifically a 5G one. It's a Bingfu one from Amazon. This one's recommended to me by Gadget John, so thank you for that. I believe these are ones he's using himself. I took his recommendation on the 4G one as well, and I've not had a problem with that, so I will take his recommendation again and use this one. You'll notice specifically as well, all of the aerials on this. You've got 2 for Wi-Fi, and then there is 4 for the 5G. So that's why it's a different aerial. This one has 4 antennas, look, 2 for the Wi-Fi and 2 for the 4G. This external antenna here that we've bought, this has 4 SMA connectors on there to replace those 5G antennas. I think this was 25 quid off of Amazon or something like that. I'll put some links down below. Right, so antennas in there, little instruction books and stuff like that. The router itself, we'll actually go and get the other one in a minute and we can compare these side to side and have a look at the difference. And a little sticky pad to stick it on. The power adapter that comes with it is like a mains adapter to 12 volts. Some of these things are normally really sensitive to voltage, and if you don't put a stable 12 volts in, it can blow them up. These ones are actually quite good because it's a 12/24 volt input, and what that means is it allows for a little variability in voltage when you put in this onto any power. And as anybody knows, that the lithium batteries in here normally about 13.5 volts, and obviously they're up and down and things like that. So these can cope with a little bit of variability in the voltage quite all right. So they're all right. Just cutting this plug off here and connecting this straight into the 12 volts of the vehicle. I won't use this one because I've got one already for the other one set up ready. We'll have a look when we go to fit it. Right, so if we have a quick look round it, looking from this side, I'll put my glasses on so I can see. It's got a little flap at the side there. If I open that up, what you'll see in the side there is there's a few different slots. We've got 2 SIM card slots and an SD card slot there as well. You can actually use these like a NAS drive as well, so you can use it as like a cloud storage sort of thing, but it's not a cloud. This is actually a cloud. It's got a USB connection there, which you can connect a hard drive to, so you can store all your films and everything like that on it, and then use it like a shared drive across your network. I've not done that, but you can do that with these. Going around it from the side, the 2 on the corners there and the 2 on the corners there are to do with the 5G stroke 4G. And the 2 antenna connections there in the middle, they're for the Wi-Fi antennas. You may be able to notice the difference if it's focusing okay. The ones for the Wi-Fi have got like a male connector in because I think they're SMA, and the ones for the internet antennas, they're like a little female one because I think that's SMARP or something like that. So you can't get the antennas plugged in wrong. In the middle at the top, you'll see there we've got a LAN port and a WAN port. So what you could actually do if you want, using the WAN port, if this is used in your home or something like that, you can bring in internet directly from your router and use that as a wide area network. So you're bringing that in as another source of internet, and then obviously your LAN port as well. I'll be using that for my CCTV because that's not on Wi-Fi, that's hardwired straight in. And then at the other side, we've just got the power port there. On this other side over here, it's got all the information about the IP address and everything for the router. And on the front, we've got all our status LEDs, so you can see what it's actually doing. With it, you also get a little mounting plate. You can screw this to the wall if you so wish, or stick it to the wall using this, depending on where you're going to mount it. And then once this is screwed up, this will literally just click into place there and hold on. Let's go and have a look at the other one before we take it off. There's the X2000 in place. You can see all the status lights there flashing away to say we've got internet. Those 2 antennas there are the Wi-Fi ones, and then these 2 on the outside, they're the ones that go to the external antenna, which we've got to take off. On the top there are the internet connections. The WAN port there is the one which goes to the Starlink. So that is how the internet from the Starlink is getting into this router. That is through the WAN port. The LAN port there, that connects to my CCTV, like I said earlier. Right, before I disconnect and remove that router, let's do a quick speed test. Let me just go into these settings and disable the Wi-Fi from the house. Actually, let's record the screen and then you can see what I'm doing. If I go back to the home page, this is how it all looks when it's online. If I click on network at the bottom, what this will show is this where I can change the order of what I want everything to turn on and off in. If I click multi-WAN, what that will do, look, is show what mode we're in. Halfway down, look, you can see mode failover. And at the top, that shows us the order from the top. First, we've got repeater, which is our house Wi-Fi, then cellular, then Ethernet. Ethernet is the Starlink. That's coming in on the WAN port. So what I can do to change the order of this is if I go to mode where it says mode failover, and then I can change the interface priority look. So if I take repeater down, move that into the 3rd position, take Ethernet down as well. I want cellular at the top. I'll click submit. And now, as you can see there, look, link status tracking method. We've got cellular at the top, Ethernet down below, and then repeater. So we should be connected now on the cellular signal. If I go into my Wi-Fi settings on the phone, I'll just make sure I'm connected to the van. Yes, I am. Look, Glamper van. And then what I can do is I can run a speed test. Right, if we go to speed test, we're connected to the camper van and we are connected to 4G. So let's run a quick speed test and see how it's working. We can compare it in a minute actually to the phone as well. So it's basing out around 39 megabits per second, 39.5 download, look, and a 20 upload, which is quite good actually for the upload. So that's not bad at all, really. That's running on 4G. What we can do, just to test it, because I do get quite a good internet connection here as well with the phone itself, is I can disconnect Wi-Fi altogether, look. I'll disconnect Wi-Fi, we'll go back, and let's do another speed test, and then it will be on the phone's 5G. We're running a little bit faster, look, 50. If I did this outside, it would be quicker. Because we're inside the camper, it will interfere with this signal a little bit. Right, so if we go into the results, look, the top two, 49.9 and 39.5. So we'll remember those. And then we'll do a speed test in a minute when we've swapped over onto this new one. Right, here's the two side by side. This is the 3000 and this is the 2000. They look kind of the same, just one's a bit smaller than the other. The 2000, I forgot, does have two SIM card slots, so you can have two SIM cards at the same time in there. So you can have a failover between two different networks on SIM cards. So I think what we should do now, we've done the speed tests on this one. Let's get this one installed. As you can see, look, I've put the Wi-Fi antennas on. It's got the two antennas there and the two antennas there. We need to get this installed on the roof of the vehicle, get the wires through into the vehicle, and then we can plug it all in. As you can see, I made this van quite easy to modify. This bit's just on Velcro, so I can pull the back out there. I've got to the wires. These wires here are that antenna. Up there, look, they go through that hole, that goes through the roof onto that connection box that I showed you earlier. So let's open that up, pull these wires back out, and then we can feed the new wires down from the new antenna. So let's get that in. Wires are through, they're all just dangling down here, look. So I'm going to tuck all these wires back. I'll get that back put up. I'll screw this back plate on. I'll plug in the antennas and the power into that. Over the other side, I've already got the two SIM cards in there. I've got an EE one and I've got an international one in there, both there. So what I'll do is I'll get all this on, I'll plug it in, I'll get it powered up, and then I'll see you back here to get it all set up. Right, it's all plugged in and powered up. I've just left it down there for now. Because on the side there's a little QR code. I need to get to that so I can connect to the Wi-Fi initially. You can see there in Wi-Fi other networks, we've got the GL-iNET 3000, two of them there. We've got the 5G and the 2.5G. For the Wi-Fi, so I'm going to connect to that now and get it set up on the software. What I'll do is I'll set it up exactly the same as it was. I'll call it the Glamper Van Wi-Fi, just the same as it was before. I'll get all that set up. I'll get the priorities set up as well, and then we'll go into the software and we'll have a look. Right, there we are, that's in. I've set up all the Wi-Fi, SSID name and everything the same as what the other one was. So everything, like this telly and everything else, is literally just connected straight to it on its own. Right, let's have a jump into the software and let's see what it's like. Right, I'm really curious to see what this speed test turns out like. Let me do a screen recording again. Right, let me set up this screen recording because I want to see what this speed test's like, because I ain't done one yet. We can see we're online, we're connected locally. If you look right at the top right hand side of the actual phone screen itself, you can see my phone has got 1 bar signal. That's what we was doing when we did the speed test earlier. Now you can see halfway down we've got the 2 Wi-Fi's set up, Glampervan and Glampervan 2.5G. Everything's connected to it as it was. If we go into network, look, if I go to multi-WAN, there we've got the priorities set up again. I've currently got them set up so cellular is at the top. Then we've got Ethernet, which is the Starlink, and repeater, which is the house Wi-Fi. I'll change the order of that lot later when we've done a bit of a speed test. Go back to the internet settings and I scroll down. There it is, look, down there, cellular, current SIM. It's on SIM 1 and it's a 5G connection. If I click on that, you can set it to auto switch between the 2 SIM cards. So we can have 2 set up on 2 different networks. So it'll fail over there between the 2 SIM cards, which is like its own little failover thing. Or you can just switch which priority SIM card you want to be using. So if you're going away and you're wanting to use one that's on a cheaper network abroad, then you can just switch it onto the second one there. So that's how you use the 2 SIM cards. But currently we're on SIM 1, which is on EE, and you can see we've got a 5G connection. Before we go to a speed test, if I click plugins, you'll see there, these are all the extra little bits that it can do. Look, you've got the dynamic DNS and the VPN and things like that. There's even an SMS service that you can set up, so you can do that directly from the router and this software. They do many good things. If you see there, the third one down, look, network storage. That's what I was saying about if you plug a hard drive into it. Obviously, we've got nothing set up there, so it shouldn't actually come up. But what you can do is you can set that up, you can put films and things like that and use this as like a network storage device, which is actually quite a cool thing to have. I might do that at some point. Right, so if I come out of this and go to speed test. Right, so in speed test, if I go back up to results, look, you can see there, look, there's our results that we did earlier. At the top, the 49.9, that was the phone. 39.5, that was the old router. Let's have a look. Let's do another speed test now. I'll just make sure we're connected to everything we're supposed to be connected to. Right, we're connected to the Glampervan there. If I come back out and go back to speed test, you're connected to the internet. Right, let's give it a go and see if this 5G makes a difference. And this is an external 5G as well, because the phone was also 5G, but we're inside the van. We're averaging there quite a bit faster with the look of this. 86.9 download speed, and we're up at about 20 upload speed, which is a really good, satisfying result. There you are, 20.7. So I am super happy with that result. We've got a super fast result. We're over twice as fast as the 4G connection that we had before. Obviously, we're on 5G, so it will be faster. But I am super happy with that. What I'll do is I'll put links down below where you can check this out for yourself. I'll also put a link down below to the video I did for the 4G version, because it's quite a bit cheaper depending on your budget. Comment below anything you want to put. I always like reading your comments. If you want to check out this system for yourself, I'm hoping to be at the Van Life Festival in Shrewsbury in another month or so, in May 2026, depending on when you're watching this video. So you can come and have a look at this setup for yourself and ask me any questions you'd like. Like the video if you liked it. And I will catch you again in another video. Cheers.